Thank you very much, the Master of Ceremonies, my colleagues from government, executives and representatives of various organizations. Good morning. Good morning. We are here, colleagues, in the context of celebration of Jamhuri Day, Kenya 59. So allow me to also say, would all of us respond to Kenya Oye? Kenya Oye! Behind me, please be more vibrant than that. Kenya Oye! Thank you. Yeah, that's important. And I want to thank the organizer. More importantly, while reflections on the past in relation to the Kenyan independence is important, it is also critical that we find ways of involving our youth, particularly, and making the occasion relevant to them. And I think I also want to thank the organizers for inviting the Kenya Institute of Curriculum 2030. When you look at the opening statements of that, it says Kenya aims to be a new industrialized society, industrialized country, and what is not clearly added there is similar to the countries that we call our age mates, the countries who are also just about 59 years old, some of whom have gone ahead of us to be middle income economies, and some of whom we look up to today for support in various areas. And Vision 2030, my colleague Dr. Langat also mentioned that we are part of a global community, and therefore the sustainable development goals are relevant to us. And in education, that we know one of the things we aim to do globally today is to enhance equity, relevance, transition, and quality of learning. So against that context, colleagues, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development plays a critical role. Our role by law is to develop curricula and curriculum support materials for all sectors, all levels of education, except the university. And I take such opportunities to just break down what is this animal we call a curriculum. Basically, a curriculum is a conceptualization of that which our learners need to partake in school or in institutions of learning, how they need to partake that, and what kind of resources we need. So three things. What is it our learners need to learn at school or experience, because it's not just learning. How do they experience that, and what resources do we need? And when we talk about curriculum support materials, then traditionally, and this is apt as we celebrate the 59th day, curriculum support materials have just been simplified as textbooks. But we go far beyond that, because we are talking about any visual, audio-visual, or any other material that will be supporting learners as they experience that which they are supposed to get. And among the functions of KICD, this is important especially for the sake of partners who are here, we are supposed to make sure as an institute that we transmit through mass media, but let us quickly add that includes digitally all the curricula and curriculum support materials and make them accessible to the Kenyans. And I'll be coming back, speaking on behalf of KICD colleagues, to say that we are celebrating this 59th Jamhuri Day in the context of curriculum reforms. Kenya has introduced a new curriculum, the competency-based curriculum, which by now probably all of us here know as CBC. In 1 minute, I'll learn a curriculum from our colonizers, who were the British then. Very quickly, the leadership of this country at that time formed a commission, the first commission into education, which made recommendations. recommendations at that time was to get an education that was intended to deal with just three main things: ignorance, poverty, and disease, which bedeviled us at that time. Now, since then, so the system of education then was basically what you could call education for job creation, to fill the gaps that were left by people who had gone back to their countries when they got independence. Now, fast forward, in between there were other commissions, but a main one was the Mackay Commission, which ended up giving us a skills-based curriculum. And that's important for us to celebrate as we are here, that through the Mackay Commission, we ended up with a skills-based curriculum. And if you read that Mackay Commission report, even at that time in 1981, they talked about the need to infuse digital skills. That has not been captured, and I'm talking technology and digital skills. That has not been captured prominently. Unfortunately, the structure of the skills-based curriculum that Mackay Commission gave us was 8 years of primary education, 4 years of secondary education, and 4 years of university education. So the Kenyans ran with the numbers and forgot about the technical name of the curriculum. So the curriculum has been called 844. Speaking as a curriculum developer, the correct name for that curriculum that we are phasing out is a skills-based curriculum. We have lived with that curriculum for 35 years. And colleagues, during that time, the rest of the world, including some of the countries we benchmarked with when we were introducing that skills-based curriculum, have moved on. Because that was 1981, the year 2000 came, the 21st century is here, and the 21st century has come in with what my colleague Dr. Langat ably called the fourth industrial revolution, defined most critically by the emphasis on digital matters. Today, even in our villages, we talk to our grandmothers, those who did not go to school, they will tell you the world is digital. So within the 23 years that we have experienced the 21st century colleagues, we have had such huge milestones that we could not ignore. And this has made it necessary for us to reform our curriculum. And so the so-called CBC basically responds from just understanding or mastery of procedures, but to arm them with knowledge, but also ability to apply that knowledge to demonstrate skills that will help us solve the 21st century issues. And what are the 21st century issues? If you are to Google, what are the 21st century skills, issues that the world requires in the 21st century? And just before I mention them, one thing that is central to these issues is that they are all technology driven. The first key competency that the 21st century demands is communication and collaboration. The realization that both in learning as a practice and in the industry, there is nothing you can achieve without communication and collaboration. The next one is critical thinking and problem solving. Yes, through technology, even those of us who are not very serious thinkers, academically, we have thought about philosophers, the likes of Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, John Locke, and others, as people who think. But even if you are not endowed with that ability to think like the philosophers, technology has introduced the ability to think and solve problems. And in this context, I believe as we tour the booths, you will come across what my colleague there has just been asking me, the CODRIS curriculum support material, which basically is intended to support the learning of coding, but from us as curriculum developers, its main aim is to assist learners in acquiring problem-solving skills from a critical age. The next competency is imagination and creativity. That we realize in the world today, we want to take our learners beyond just waiting for the teacher and the textbook to be able to imagine and to create what they can do. And this is also global. If you look at what every taxonomy of learning, it moves from recall, not fully appreciate their responsibility as citizens of this country. And so even sometimes when you call for public participation, you will see very few people appear until you come up with a policy direction, then people say they were not involved. We have been affected as KICD because when we develop the competency, is self-efficacy. And this is critical, that we want to reduce in this country, and I should have said, a curriculum is visionary. When we make a curriculum, colleagues, people might even look at it as expensive, but who wants a cheap curriculum for a country such as Kenya? So we are thinking about 30 years from now, when our graduates will be the industry, and we are saying that kind of graduate should be self-efficacious. That person who can face the world. We have not gone there fully, but we are looking at a situation where we'll be able to rely on the digital space when we develop curricula. Of all sectors of the Kenyan society in a space, usually physical, put them together, divide them into their areas of expertise, and tell them now, in this area of yours, call it science and technology, what do you think children at this level should learn in school today? Wanachiloba, believe it or not, we bring in almost 1,000 people, put them in space, tell them now, sit down, think until you tell us what children should learn. We are saying it's a little of a shame to us. Going forward, we want to rely on digital space to be able to do this. That from wherever you are, you have taken a tour to America. America is where everybody wants to go. We can still involve you in enhancing our curriculum. And that goes for other processes we do, like approval of books. And up to date, one of the things you are aware of is that we are relying on supplying what we call a book on a 1-to-1 ratio for our learners in school. How I pray that going forward, then we'll just as a platform to provide the curriculum and curriculum support materials. So actually, much as you hear some people say they don't know about CBC, if you go to the KICD website today, you will find that but including guidelines on how this could be done. All these books that are in school that you may want to hear some people say they don't have, any book that is applied to the country is available on our digital space. If you go to our website, you will find it. So the third way, of course, is that to implement a curriculum for a country, then you need teachers and you need networks so that you are able to know what's happening in different parts of the world. And again, this is availed. Now, where is this availed at KICD? I want to invite all of us who are here to pass by the KICD booth. We are demonstrating there the Kenya Education Cloud. We are proud to say we are only the third country in Africa to be able to have a one-stop platform where you can access real-time lessons. You can access all those programs that we air through television, on radio, and you can access digital education programs. The Kenya Education Cloud is a reality because of the partnership we have enjoyed with a lot of the companies, a lot of the organizations represented here, a lot of the tech institutions, and we believe that colleagues, unless we are very innovative, which is in line with what we are doing today, in the next 10 or so years, some of us who earn a salary by being teachers maybe will have no jobs. Because even these laboratories that you now here are saying we want money to build, we are going to have digital laboratories. Actually, some countries already have them. And the point is these colleagues, as my colleague Dr. Kurgat said, you may have heard us being accused of introducing some difficult content. But if you're just going to give learners cheap content, like how many years since independence? 59. Who was our first president? Jomo Kenyatta. And who is the current president? Now, we are complaining in other countries, children in grade 2, sometimes in our minds we just call a gadget, a computer. Children can dismantle that hardware and put software in it and put it together again In some countries, digitally, children can open up an engine of a car and decide to experiment with what is it that they can do so that this engine uses just electricity and not petrol. In other countries, children at grade 4 already are able to open a cadaver. A cadaver is a dead body that is used for learning purposes. The children can open a cadaver, remove all parts of human body digitally, put them in places, put them back, and give life to this human being digitally. So that by the time you take them to a classroom, they have gone very far. This is where technology is taking us, and I'm happy that today we are celebrating Kenya at 59, and we are talking where the world has gone. So colleagues, I want to finish by inviting us to partner with KICD. I should have said, we are a center of excellence, and we are partnering with very serious organizations, including, I should mention, Communication Authority and others, to be able to implement a curriculum that is relevant to this country. So partners, you are welcome to take the continent, to take the globe way forward. Otherwise, I want to wish us a happy Jamhuri Day, and if you're not going to meet again, at least physically, have a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2023. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Wapi makofi ya daktari one more time. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.